What is up? What is up? It's your boy Ben Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. And I am going to give my 2 cents on the whole situation with Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones, which led to Micah Parsons being traded to a divisional rival of mine, the Green Bay Packers. As most of you guys know, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan. So I'm a little disgruntled about the fact that the Packers got Micah Parsons, but, it's just friendly, divisional rival stuff. But this is not what this is about. What this is about is explaining my 2 cents of the stupidity of Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. And again, time and time again, Jerry Jones proves why he's a terrible executive and he's nothing more than a spoiled, rich white boy that thinks he knows everything, that he's the smartest person in the room when many people are afraid to stand up to him and tell him that you're not. And the product on the field speaks for itself. I mean, I didn't even watch the Netflix documentary, nor did I don't even want to at all. But I've seen a couple of clips of it. And what I always get the perception of Jerry Jones is that Jerry Jones is a guy that believes that he's the smartest person in the room, who thinks that everything that he does is the smartest thing to do. And every time that has happened, the Cowboys have gotten further back and further back. Even if they've had, some good seasons here and there. It's not like they've been mediocre the entire time. They've had some strong seasons. I can remember 2007 when they went 13-3, and then Jerry Jones stupidly put Super Bowl tickets in each one of the Cowboys locker rooms, which precipitated with the Giants upsetting them in the divisional round, which was stupid in and of itself. And I even remember and this is my personal one. My personal one is 1998 during the draft when they were supposed to draft Randy Moss, yet they drafted Greg Ellis. Now, Greg Ellis was turned out to be a very good football player, but Randy Moss could have been a generational talent that could have basically helped the Cowboys out, especially after Michael Irvin, almost went to jail again, for violating his probation, and more importantly, when he had his, cervical spine injury that pretty much ended his career. So, already off the bat, you already got 2 strikes on that. Now, the whole situation when it came to the Micah Parsons thing is that Micah Parsons just wanted to be paid to what he's worth. There's no problem with that. Now, were there some things that Micah Parsons said, that really was come across as, as very distasteful? You could say that if you choose to do so. But the thing is, you don't trade a generational talent like that, of Micah Parsons, to a team that historically has been your rival for the longest of times, and that is the Green Bay Packers. It's kind of like an equivalence of when the Reggie White signed with the Green Bay Packers as a free agent. Now, that's a totally different ballgame because Reggie White changed the landscape of the free agency market in the National Football League. But the thing is, when you look back at what Jerry Jones is, he's pretty much a carbon copy of Al Davis, because Al Davis was doing the same stupid decisions and burnt bridges with many of his franchise stars, and his team suffered because of his own stupidity. He's literally our generation's version of Al Davis. I'm talking about Jerry Jones. Because remember, he also sued the NFL for basically wanting to take, the copyright infringements of the Dallas Cowboys logo. He signed his own, promotional deals with Nike and with Pepsi, and pretty much he's made himself a billionaire fortune. One thing is for certain, though, Jerry Jones is very good when it comes to business. But when it comes to football-related decisions, he's just beyond terrible. Why do you think Dak Prescott pretty much keeps his business casual? He doesn't want any kind of close relationship with Jerry Jones because he's seen what Jerry Jones will do and what he'll basically do to backstab his own players. And another historical fact, Troy Aikman also retired for almost similar to those reasons. Not just with the injuries of the back injury and the concussions. It was because of the fact that Jerry Jones made stupid decisions left and right that pretty much killed the entire, chemistry of the franchise. Going back to when he decided to fire away Jimmy Johnson after winning their second straight Super Bowl. I mean, come on. You fired away your Super Bowl winning coach that literally was responsible for helping rebuilding the team, literally. And it was Jimmy Johnson's idea to trade away Herschel Walker for all those draft picks to my Minnesota Vikings, right? And literally, you basically tried to take all the credit away from Jimmy Johnson to satisfy your own ego. This is one of the reasons why the Cowboys have never won anything and never will succeed in anything until Jerry Jones steps down as general manager. He can be the owner and still do all the business stuff. But the problem is Jerry Jones has always been a guy that's kind of like with Jerry Krause. He wanted to seek that level of validation and credit for his own independent work, and it's never worked out. The same methods that were worked for him in the 90s is no longer working in today's NFL. And he's continued to fail time and time again. And what makes you think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be any good this year? They're not even better than the New York Giants this season, for goodness sake. But as I said before, until Jerry Jones steps away as general manager, or when he, passes away, the Dallas Cowboys are never going to win anything. And I doubt that Stephen Jones is going to change much of anything either, because he's also a carbon copy of his father. Although I will give Stephen Jones some credit for telling his father not to draft Johnny Manziel, because he was going to do that. But thankfully, Stephen Jones had some sense to tell his father, hey, don't not draft this guy. Thankfully. But either way, the Dallas Cowboys are pretty much the laughingstock of the National Football League, even though they're probably the most luxurious franchise in all of sports, but they haven't won anything. Their product on the field is trash, and they always hire coaches that were always going to be yes men to Jerry Jones. He's never hired a coach that's always going to be willing to fight back against some of the bad roster decisions. Other than Bill Parcells, literally all the coaches that he's hired over the years are nothing more than yes men. Going back to Dave Campo, going back to, let's say, Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett. I mean, the list goes on and on. And even hell, after he fired Jimmy Johnson, he hired Barry Switzer. And the only reason why Barry Switzer won the title in 95 was because off of Jimmy Johnson's talent. That's it. But other than that, the Dallas Cowboys haven't won anything, and yet they want to sit around here and live off of the success that they had from decades ago. That course has pretty much ran out, and now people are just pretty much looking at them as a joke, and they become the laughingstock of all the NFL. So at the end of the day, you can cry about it all you want to, but Micah Parsons, is going to be a phenomenal star, absolutely, and he's going to continue to get better. And already with him on your roster, your defense is already going to become even better. So the Packers have already got a major upgrade when you add a generational defensive tackle or a defensive lineman like Micah Parsons on your team. It's gonna do major wonders for your team. So at the end of the day, bro, Jimmy Johnson was absolutely right. Jerry Jones thinks he's the smartest person in the room, and he literally he continues to prove Jimmy Johnson right every single time. And Jerry Jones is going to continue to remain embarrassment. The Cowboys are not going to win no Super Bowls anytime soon. And until the Cowboys change their style of how they approach things and learn how to evaluate talent even better, they're never going to win anything. They might win a playoff game here and there, but as far as winning a Super Bowl or getting to a conference championship, that's never going to happen anytime soon. Not even in this close, especially in the hyper-competitive NFC East, or even hell in the entire NFC, for goodness sake. There's too many good teams right now that are far better than the Dallas Cowboys. Even my Minnesota Vikings are still partially in the championship mix. So, yeah, I know it's embarrassing to see all that. You know what the messed up part is that you lose two generational stars in the city of Dallas. The Mavericks traded away Luka Doncic out of nowhere, and we all thought it was fake, and it turned out it was real. Then Jerry Jones decides to basically satisfy his own ego and basically traded away Micah Parsons, which is going to hurt them down the line. So at the end of the day, bro, I really don't care too much about the Dallas Cowboys, but at the end of the day, the fans got to be upset and got to be mad about this. I mean, it's been a bad time to be a Dallas sports fan, trading away two of your franchise stars for nothing. So it is what it is, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. With that, I'm out. Peace.